If you've ever felt like making close friends as an adult is harder than you expected, you're not alone. At some point, we all wondered, how do you even make friends anymore? The good news is, making close friends as an adult is absolutely possible. The process may look a little bit different than it did years earlier. Today, we are going to talk about why making close friends as an adult may feel different, what opportunities still exist, and what actually helps those friendships grow stronger. And when I say adult, I don't necessarily mean older. Whether you're 22, 35, 49, or 68, the way we make friends changes as we move through different stages of our life. But the way close friendships are built really hasn't changed that much at all. As a matter of fact, there's probably more opportunity now to build close friendships. Different stages of life create different opportunities to make friends. When we were young adults, friendships occurred more naturally through school, through college, probably through frequent social activities. But as lives change and we go on to our careers and relationships and possibly children, moving, and even retirement, we usually have to be a bit more intentional on how we meet new people. Sometimes life events can also change your social circles. Maybe someone has gone through a divorce. Maybe someone has lost a significant other. And sometimes those friendships can change and possibly even go away completely because those friends or that friend's circle was more connected to that other person. That's one of the reasons that making new friendships can become important during the different stages of our lives. In these life experiences that happen as we go through life, they can actually help to make friendships, existing friendships and new friendships even stronger because now you've both been through something similar. And so you have a bond there or a connection, or you can understand maybe where the other person is coming from. And a lot of times those types of connections are what build our friendships into close friendships, maybe strong friendships, or even lifelong friendships. What are some opportunities that we can take advantage of to maybe make new friends that can turn into close friends in the future? I think one of the things that we have to do intentionally is put ourselves out there to where we might be around people who share some of the same interests and hobbies that we do. Putting yourself out there, whether at a community event, a social event, a fitness event, church, or something like there, can feel a little bit overwhelming sometimes. Personally, I am a very outgoing person, but if I walk into a room full of strangers, that maybe I'm going to an event where I don't really know anybody, A, I feel awkward. B, I feel like everyone's eyes are on me. And C, I feel a little bit shy. But generally in my everyday life, I am outgoing. So when I say putting yourself out there, I understand that it can maybe be a little bit intimidating at times, but just understand that we all feel that way. I shouldn't say we all, because some people don't feel that way. A lot of people feel that way. So you are probably not alone if it's a little intimidating when you think of putting yourself out there like that. But that discomfort is often the first step toward meeting new people and building some real connections. And although some of us can be nervous doing that, if we remember that those people are there for the same reason we are, it automatically kind of gives us a feeling of comfort because we're all there for the same thing. And another thing, when we talk about putting yourself out there, that doesn't necessarily have to mean physically going to a group or an event. It can also mean using social media. Social media is a great tool to meet people. Maybe you belong to a certain group on a social platform. Maybe it's a cooking group. Maybe it's a DIY type of group. Something like that where there are already like minded individuals interested in the same thing you are. And maybe you notice in that group that you're a member of, there's one person who maybe catches your eye because, like, they're sharing some of the same ideas that you had, or, you just seem to gel with what they're saying, maybe just a little bit above everyone else. And that's where maybe you take that opportunity to put yourself out there and maybe do a direct message to them and say, hey, I really liked your idea in relation to this. I really loved that recipe you shared. Do you have any ideas on how I could take that recipe and make it maybe vegetarian or low fat or low carb, something like that, right? Because that's also putting yourself out there. And that also can, maybe come with a little nervousness, maybe not as much as in person, but you still have to wonder, are they even going to respond to me? In that type of thing. But those are some of the first steps that you can take and some of the ways you can put yourself out there, and you're already doing it with people who have a shared interest as you. So that kind of right there is like one hurdle to get over. You're already both interested in the same things, whether it's a social media group or an in-person event. And even if social media may or may not be a place where the friendship actually begins, it is where that you discover that you have something in common with someone. And technology is actually a great place to possibly start a friendship, use it to enhance a friendship, but technology will never replace a long-term close friendship. It's excellent for maybe getting to know someone. Even if you've met someone at an in-person event, you might use technology, be a social platform or texting, just to kind of get to know them a little bit better, which is perfectly fine. It's great for staying connected, especially at the beginning of a friendship, right? Kind of, like I said, text back and forth, maybe have some conversations. But those close friendships, if you want them to grow and continue to grow and become long-term, those will eventually move away from just the technology into actually in-person meetings, in-depth conversations, sharing those experiences that you've had through life that you can relate to each other with, and just sharing those so you can get to know each other better. And friendships are going to grow through levels when we meet people. When we first meet someone, we gather a first impression, and then they're like an acquaintance. Maybe you say hi every now and again. Then you kind of start talking to them a little bit more often, maybe having coffee with them, right? Now they're a casual friend. And then, they might move on from there to your inner circle or your forever friend. Or maybe you already have possibly an inner circle friend who you really want to become your forever friend. And those are just the levels that our friendships are going to go through, especially when we first meet someone. That's exactly what happened to my best friend and I. She showed up to watch a Taekwondo class. Hey, how you doing? And then she signed up and started coming. And so, we started hanging out, we started talking, then we became casual friends, and boom, we've progressed all the way to a 33-year friendship at this point. So expect those natural progressions in your friendship and take those opportunities when they present themselves. Making friends as an adult may not look the same as it did in your earlier years as you move through life, but that doesn't mean that the opportunity is gone. Every stage of life brings an opportunity to meet new people and build meaningful friendships. The important thing is being willing to take that first step, even if it is a little bit uncomfortable, because close friends are still built the same way they've always been. One conversation, one shared experience and one level at a time. And as we all know, a really close friend is an absolute gift. If you're trying to build or maintain stronger friendships, I would love to have you here. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Every week, we talk about what it takes to build, keep, and strengthen meaningful friendships. And if you're wondering how friendships naturally grow over time, check out my 5 levels of friendship video. I will link it in the description below. We will see you in the next one. Peace.